thought you could get into real estate as a side hustle. You probably expected that you could do just fine switching into careers or just tiptoeing into the water and be able to be just as successful for your clients as you could in your normal career field in the past. So, can you actually be a part-time real estate agent? Well, before you make that part-time decision, let's talk about a few things that you better know. Whether you thought about switching careers because you're new to the game and you want to get involved in real estate and you're just thinking about it, or wondering if, hey, I've been in real estate for a long time, I have some other opportunities to supplement my income. Can I continue to support real estate in a part time capacity? We absolutely want to make sure that as a licensed real estate agent, you understand how that you could work as much or as little as you want, which is going to make this hustle an excellent choice for anybody looking for flexible part time work with the potential to still earn a lot. I'm going to discuss some of the common questions today about being a part time in the real estate industry, some of the pros, some of the cons, how you would get started as a part time agent if you're thinking about diving into the pool with the rest of us. By the way, stay out of the deep end. Some of the fish out there are pretty big. So, what is a part time real estate agent? Let's start there. Being part time means that you're going to work 30 hours or less in the real estate industry, likely due to other job commitments that you may have, or personal interest, or other things that you're just responsible for, like kids, running a household. Part-time agents are going to see that this is a great opportunity for an additional source of income and be able to work real estate as a secondary job. Ultimately, your primary field or your primary responsibility feeding into the secondary, which would be the real estate market. Due to limited availability, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to run into some time management, traditional competition, full-time agents who are going to be able to battle the market more efficiently than you. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics states that part-time agents work less than 30 hours a week, and part-time agents are considered still, when you look at the quality and the amount of transactions that are completed, that they can be just as successful with some good management and with some great time management understanding, that they can provide excellent customer service. If this type of work ethic fits your schedule and your lifestyle, being a part-time realtor could be a great side hustle for you. In addition, it's also worth mentioning that becoming a part-time agent can be a great choice for retirees who just want some flexible schedule, additional income during retirement. This can be really appealing to the retired professional, people from different backgrounds who simply just want some flexibility and some financial reward during their retirement years that they can use to supplement not only their retirement opportunities, but maybe some travel and things that they didn't get the right chance to save for while they were busy into their normal 9 to 5 hustle. Significant difference between a part-time and a full-time agent, honestly, is going to be the level of commitment. It's going to be the time dedicated to the real estate professional. There are some key distinctions that you want to keep in mind. Number one being time commitment. A part-time real estate agent is going to work fewer hours a week because they simply have other jobs or other personal commitments. Availability. A part-time agent is going to be limited on the availability that they have for their client. This is going to affect how quickly can they respond to their client's needs or requests. Experience and expertise. Part-time new agents especially are going to have less experience than full-timers because they're not as involved in the industry itself. The day-to-day operations, they're going to miss out on those experiences. This could mean that they are simply not skilled at handling more complicated deals. And on the other hand, a full-time agent who switches to part-time is likely to be incredibly experienced, but still can't answer the call when the clients need them most. Network and client base changes too. If you fall back to our conversation last week on some of the things that you need, networking is a huge component. So part-time agents might have a smaller network and they're going to depend more on their personal connections or on referrals from a limited real estate interaction, as opposed to a full-time agent who can truly go out there and hustle new clients, meet new people, experience new things in the area during the daytime working hours when the part-time agent may not have availability. And then, of course, the income potential. I am a true believer in you get out exactly what you put in. So part-time agents are going to traditionally earn less. The numbers are simply there to support it because they are less available. They can't focus. They cannot give as much dedicated time to the job, and that's going to limit the income potential. Now, that said, that doesn't mean the full-time agent is going to be more efficient or be better, right? The numbers simply support, and everybody knows, you've heard me all preach about the 80-20 rule. Let's face it, 20% of the agents out there are still doing 80% of the work. While we've got all those numbers in our understanding, let's consider a few extra things. For example, is part-time real estate as a career right for you? I'm sure you got some burning questions. And the reason this class came up this week is because I got a lot of interesting phone calls. Typically, twice a year, whenever our real estate dues or our membership dues or our licensing fees or our renewals, as we call them, to our boards that we all have to belong to be realtors versus just real estate agents. Anytime a realtor has to cut a decent sized check, it's amazing how they question whether they should continue going. So I wanted to put together this material today to solidify the reason that most of them are in the game and let them know that it's okay to scale back into a part-time philosophy if that's what they're going to do, or continue with their full-time job if that's how they're going to massage their work ethics. But being part-time means that they're going to have to understand that it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to take more effort during the availability of being an agent than it took them at a full-time capacity. At a full-time capacity, I've got the entire day at my disposal. I have the opportunity to manage my time, right? The whole ideal behind getting into real estate was I'm in control. I am the boss. I decide what I do day to day. Yes, day to day within a 12-hour day, because your clients typically do have a traditional job or they do have a business that they have to run, and they are leveraging you as a real estate agent and your knowledge when they're available. So that flexibility in your time schedule is kind of a misnomer. Most agents are considered independent contractors. So they're not employees. They don't get a salary in this line of work. When you're talking about your earnings as a real estate agent, depending on your expenses and the number of total sales you make, the potential is huge. But you could make no money in a month, no money in a quarter, even operate in a loss covering your own expenses until that next deal closes or the next several deals close. When I set my goals up for the year, which are critically important for you to running any independent business, you've got to set goals. You've got to figure out how to reach those goals. My goals are set on a quarterly quarterly assessment towards an annual goal. I know how many deals I need to close in a year to consider myself successful for the year. Anything above that, fantastic. And I don't care if they all close in December if I'm going to use just a calendar methodology. All of my deals close in December, fantastic. I know how to budget my money out and stretch things out throughout the entire year. Traditionally, it's a little more even flow. I'll do several deals in a month, and you'll get a small lull, and then it'll be right back into play. The payback for that is that you can still make no money month and month and still have a reserve in play that you can continue to pay your bills from while you continue to do the hustle. Now, the pay for a part-time agent is even more sparse. They are relying on deals that are kind of falling in their lap. They're relying on business to come to them more than them creating it themselves. Depending on the market and depending on how many hours they actually get to put in, their skills are truly put to the test because they get one shot, one opportunity. There's a song out there about that, I'm pretty sure. They got to get it right the first time. Let's break down what are some of the effects and how much part-time real estate agents can really be affected by. So let's start with market condition. Real estate markets here in Florida is the primary example that I use, but I communicate very well and very often with brokers around the United States and some globally in different markets. So real estate markets are very different depending on where you are and where you're going to use as your territory or even your golden neighborhood. The property prices, the commissions that are expected can be higher in some places, and these are where everyone wants to live so that you can make money or more money, I should say, or competition is less, so you're going to do more properties at a lower price per unit and make more money, but have to cause yourself more work. Then, of course, you've got the commission rates. The traditional, if on the average over the years, in the United States, it's been around 6%, but that's for both sides. That's a cooperative commission, typically divided between a listing agent and a buyer's agent. This will differ, and they expect at some point this to shift a little bit. Excuse me, because of the NAR settlement that went in, right? The buyer brokers agreements and how that's going to affect it. The agent's brokerage firm also takes a percentage cut from the agent traditionally to get their share, unless they're working under a 100% platform. I have to say that here in Florida and in my market specifically, the buyer's brokers agreement has not cost me money, has not cost me time, has not made it more difficult for me to do business. In fact, because I was always open and transparent to both sides of every deal, it was very easy for me to say, hey, by the way, just like an attorney, I cannot show you a home without proper representation, and I need to show that in contract form in case I ever get audited by my industry. The industry has a responsibility to give me a license and for me to follow their rules to maintain it. So for us to work together, I simply have to have an agreement in place so they can see that we have a legal premise and understanding to do business. Then there's your experience and your skill level. Agents with more experience and skills tend to close more deals, period. They simply have more power to negotiate. They understand how to push for a higher commission. They're going to get better splits with their brokerages if they work for a brokerage like that, thereby increasing their potential earnings. The bottom line is what we're talking about here. A lot of part-time agents, by the way, leave large brokerages and go to smaller independent brokerages that give them more flexibility because they know they're going to probably do more deals or less deals, sorry. So they need to capitalize on every single penny that they make in the commission statement. And then, of course, the number of transactions too. The number of properties an agent can sell or lease, if you're into leasing, is going to affect the income, period. And part-time agents typically handle fewer deals than a full-time agent. And certainly, as a true juggler mentality in this industry, the more balls that are in the air aren't the problem. It's when all of them fall and you've only got two hands. If you've got two hands and one of them's filled with a full-time job or another industry expectation, it's going to be very difficult for you to act in a full-time capacity when you're juggling multiple transactions. And then the time. Part-time realtor might only be able to work evenings, only be able to work on weekends, or dedicate just a few days a week to real estate. That's going to impact the number of clients that they can serve, and obviously properties that they can show. And then, of course, property type and location. Part-time agents can make more money per sale by focusing on specific properties. We've talked about niche, we have talked about specializations. You've definitely got to employ both of those if you're going to be part-time. If you're going to be a luxury agent, stick to it. Stop trying to spread yourself thin. Commercial agents need to stick to commercial, especially if they're going to be part-time. These are going to take longer to sell. In the sales industry, we call that runway. It is going to be a lot longer runway for you to go between deals to get things done. So picking that sought after location with higher property values, working that golden area, for many people is going to be difficult, but it will lead to bigger earnings in the long run if you specialize and you focus. So then we talk about your realtor schedule a little bit. As a full-time agent, you'll typically work during regular business hours. Evenings and weekends are cut into based on your clients' schedules. You're going to spend a lot of time looking for new clients and networking with industry pros during the day and marketing to get new business that will affect your nights and your weekends. Typical weekday schedule, you're up at 5 a.m., you're ready for your day, shower, eating, etc. by 6:30. Your real estate administration and your growth checks start working around 7 o'clock, so you can check your emails and get things going. 7 a.m. to 7:30, you're getting ready to leave for main work, right? You're focusing on primary work functions and focusing on administration, typically first thing in the morning from 8 to 12. 12 o'clock, you're going to take a lunch break. And in real estate, that's typically a 2-hour lunch because you're probably meeting with someone or having lunch with another professional. Back from 1 to 5 so you can focus on primary functionality. And then from 5 to 6, you're either driving home or going to starting your real estate client meetings, your showings, your meetups, etc. Dinner with your family, your friends, your clients are going to hit you somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then after 8 o'clock, you're probably going to deal with any contract actions that you have to deal with from the day's work so that you can wrap up your day. I realize that's a very straightforward example because if you take a very standard day and make time blocks out of it, and we've got an entire class out of being task oriented and doing time blocking in your day. Um, but you need to understand that you take the client variable, throw them in that mix, and every client that you're managing is going to interrupt every single part of your day while that stuff is going on. Part-time agents have a whole lot less availability for that. Primary focus is on their weekends. Their weekends, they meet with their clients. On their weekends, they meet with showing properties or late in the evenings. They handle administrative tasks during that time. Being organized is super key for agents. And as a part-time agent, you're having to juggle real estate responsibilities with the primary job. So full-time teacher, for example, which my wife is, might do real estate part-time simply by using her evenings and her weekends and her school holidays to serve clients. In most cases, she has to team up with the broker or she has to team up with other agents that can take on any responsibilities that happen during the day. Now, that might cost her a cut of the overall commission, but the relationship, the reason that she's there, the reason people trust her is what brought that client to the table. The other agent is certainly supplemental and gets awarded by being able to do business they could not have done on their own. This way, the teacher can continue to pursue her passion for real estate while keeping the security of a full-time job. And that's important to a lot of people that have standardized debt and standardized bills. They need a paycheck coming in month to month that gives them a level of security so that when commissions come in, they get the big swing of incomes and can use that monies for the additional or the high-end purchases or the big surprise purchases that they need to make throughout the year and take care of family vacations, etc. Client perception. This is a huge factor. When you are working as a part-time agent, Being available for your clients 24/7 is not only challenging, it's simply impossible. You can manage it, but you've got to be very clear with your clients when you're available, how quickly you can get back to them, and how during those times you are dedicated to them. This is going to help you stay top of mind and you're going to have to show a level of communication and a level of organization that you don't normally show as a traditional agent. Tools like email, autoresponders, scheduling apps, these are all going to be able to help you and help your clients know that you're free and be able to manage your availability. If you've got a scheduling app that your client can go to because they need 30 minutes of your time, once you organize a client, you should set a weekly meeting as a rhythm of business. They should have access to like a Calendly system so they can set extra time with you as you are available so that you know things are scheduled and they're going to feel like it's maintained. But if they're the type of client, if they're the type of customer that feels like they need to be able to send you a text or give you a quick phone call because they're available and not going to appreciate that you can't talk to them right now, you're going to lose business. So be prepared for it. If you have an administrative staff or you have an active broker that can help you during the day, there should be an office number that people can call if you're not available, and you should promote it that way. Hey, if I'm not there, my broker and my admin staff are available. Second you call me and I'm not ready, call my office. They will help you immediately, or they will get to me if it's an emergency need. But remember, in real estate, what's going to matter to the client is the value you offer, how you're earning your commission, your market insights, how you're going to help them achieve their goals, how you understand and relate to their story. Success in real estate is going to be all about how you connect with people. Feeling like you're up against experienced full-time agents and professionals is normal, but there are keys to success. And at the end of the day, real estate is all about relationships. Your people skills and how well you stay on top of the matter, this is going to be much more important to them than a traditional 9 to 5 work hour. Brokerage needs. This gets a little sensitive to some folks too. And I'm going to go ahead and say it up front so that we get it out of the way. You're working for a big broker. You're nothing but a number. If you're not pulling in the numbers, they don't need to care about you. So why should they? If you went to work for them, understanding that that's their mentality, and you just followed your friend that went over there because, hey, we can work for a big brand and that big moniker is important. Trust me, they are understanding the business and not you. They want a friend on the inside so that they get to take the beatings with company. Misery always loves company. And by the way, if you weren't successful at one brokerage, you're going to have a lot of trouble being successful at another, especially when you're in a pool with 100 fish versus in a pool with 10. So, real estate agents, you have to have a sponsoring broker. You have to have one that represents buyers and sellers in transactions, a broker that is relevant. Part-time agent especially must have options. They're going to be limited by full-time colleague challenges. However, brokerages are happy to have help for you. Highly energetic, talented part-time workers are great, and they will typically partner you guys up together in a team so that you can run your business effectively. They make money when you make money, so they'll help you find a way. But the key is to find a broker who understands business, who has been in the game long enough, and who is active in the market today, so they understand what's actually happening. What's the real day-to-day of the real estate market today in May of 2025? Key is to find a broker who's open to how you want to run your business, and they can give you a game plan of how their strategies can help you be successful. Other responsibilities include things like your education requirements. You have a continuing education need and assessment requirement that you must hit. The license requirements for full-time and part-time agents are exactly the same, regardless of how many hours you choose to work, regardless of how many deals you close a year. It can be a few weeks to a few months to become a part-time real estate agent, depending on how fast you go through the training, how fast you can pass your initial exam, and then how fast you can meet your other state and your other brokerage requirements. Not to mention what you have to do to be a realtor while you're signing up and paying a board to represent you and give you access to other tools like the MLS and other strategies that they have in technology. Make sure that you enlist in understanding the rules in your state. So when you plan out your real estate career, you do it properly and you do it with good knowledge. You wouldn't go out and just buy a car because you felt like it was going to be an investment and not expect to have to put some gas in it, not expect to be able to put some repairs in it, but you're going to expect it to drive you around and keep you in good standing while you're running around on the road in 90-degree heat with good air conditioning. So why in the hell would you expect that you're just going to go pass a fast real estate license because you learn how to study or you learn how to beat the test, and then you're not going to put any effort towards making the money that it gives you the capability for? Then not spending the time and the energy on keeping it educated, maintained, and paying all of the additional fees and dues to keep things on the up and up. Green light is what's going to keep you in this business. Time management. Time management of a full-time role agent. You can be a part-time agent if you manage your time and maintain flexibility, but an organized schedule is a requirement. It's going to mean dedicating specific weekly hours to real estate, evenings, weekends, managing your time as a part-time agent. It's going to be important for you to figure out what your most important real estate tasks are and set aside those specific evenings and weekends to do your work. Some tips for managing your time when you've got both a full-time job and a part-time job. And we've all done it at some aspect or another. So understand that there are methods out there to make you more successful. Time blocking. We got a whole class on it. Being able to Business means generating business. So if you're not utilizing time blocking and remembering to schedule specific time blocks for real estate tasks, you're failing yourself. You got a lot to do. You got to find leads. You got to meet with clients. You got to show properties. Just those things alone are going to be up in the air 9 times out of 10 and going to be a huge component and a time detriment to your day. But it's going to help you stay focused if you understand that these blocks during my week, during my weekend, will allow me to do those things without getting distracted by other responsibilities and that client that's going to hammer you on the call right now. I'm sitting in class just lightly paying attention to my phone over here, which is sending me all kind of pings and beeps and messages. I had to start taking my Fitbit and stuff off because it would vibrate my wrist to death while I was in these classes. You're going to need to learn how to set aside time for these things that are important and give that device a break so that it's all standing by and waiting for you when you get back to it. But truly, time block when you're going to be available to catch up on all of the phone activity. Prioritize tasks. Remember, finding the most important real estate task that needs your attention and working it from start to finish is really going to help you as a part-time agent. This way, you can use the limited time that you have and you can feel like you've got a sense of accomplishment every day. Write the tasks down if you're going to be task oriented. Check the boxes. Physically do this for yourself so you can feel like you actually got things done and you understand how busy you are. The full-time job that you have is going to take up so much of your brain space that you're not going to understand that even though you got only 2 or 3 things done in your real estate world today, you still made a huge dent and an accomplishment for that client. And by the way, did you call that client today? Text the king. If you can leverage technology and remember to use scheduling, organizational apps, your CRM, to stay on track with tasks and appointments, to do your marketing when you're not available to do it yourself, to forward videos and messages to clients on a timely basis, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier and help keep you top of mind on all of your clients and top of messaging on all of your real estate commitments. Prioritization of tasks. Remember to figure out which things are the most important, the things that absolutely need your attention. Work on finishing them during your available time blocks and through those hours. This way, even though you're limited, you can make absolutely sure to handle your top three objectives every single day, or in a part-time capacity, three major objectives every single week might be the only way that you can do this. Delegate. If you have the opportunity to delegate and tasks aren't super important, consider getting some help from others. Maybe outsourcing it, get yourself an offshore resource that can help you with some cold calling or with some basic strategy management. This will help you get more time on those priority events, and allow you to stay at least under control while you're in a part time state. And then, of course, communication. You've got to let people know that you are a part-time agent. You have to let them know that you have a full-time job, but you have a full manageable resource calendar for availability for real estate. Sharing your part-time schedule is going to help you a lot, and it's going to help you avoid misunderstandings and scheduling issues. I've got a brokerage with agents that are very active. And even though they know I'm in class right now, it doesn't stop them from sending me a message. But because they know I'll get back to you later, they know that I will always return their calls and their messages within the day. That makes it a whole lot easier for us to keep a good working balance. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the pros and the cons of becoming a part-time real estate agent. If you've been thinking about whether you can do it before, and before you decide, it's essential for you to be able to weigh both of these so that you can figure out whether this is something you can even do, right? I would never tell somebody throw in the towel, hang up your license. If you're only going to be able to dedicate your time, or if you don't seem to be the personality that can do more than one thing at once to be successful at the same time, I am the last guy that is going to be able to tell you to hang up your license. I never believe that you should have taken the time and the energy to get all of this under your belt, and for you to give it up simply because you believe that you're running out of time and this should be the thing that you don't utilize anymore. So let's just talk about the pros. Part-time real estate work can help you transition real estate into a full-time career. It can help you test the waters before you commit to being a full-time agent and working for yourself 100%. You also have the flexibility to choose your work hours. You can make it easier to balance other jobs and other personal commitments as long as you're organized. You can become a part-time real estate agent and provide extra income through commissions on sales and rentals without the demand of a full-time job. Working part-time in real estate will also help you develop your sales, negotiations, marketing, customer service skills, strategy, all while gaining real estate experience that not only can you use to make additional earning potentials, but for yourself and accommodations for yourself and your family in the real estate market too. Becoming a part-time real estate agent is also a great way for you to meet new people and build an incredibly strong network in this industry. And the network is what's going to keep you going day after day. Now, let's talk about some of the cons that should keep you from doing this. You better be able to balance real estate with another job because your availability. And if you don't handle scheduling conflicts well, don't do it. Income can and will be inconsistent, especially in the beginning, and it can take some time for you to close some good deals, some large size commissions, and hire potentially some support groups to be able to help you be successful. It can help you take time to close deals to receive those commissions. So be prepared. Time is not your friend if you don't already have some money in the bank. Part-time agents are also going to struggle with staying current on market trends and responding to clients properly. This is going to hinder their ability to build a very strong client base. They're going to have to only take on a few clients at a time, and they're going to have to be hyper focused on those clients when they're not in their real time job. Then, as a part time agent, you're also going to be competing in a very crowded market. It's probably better now than it has been in a long time, simply because the market is normalized. It is more competitive because there are less clients with the ability to buy and plenty of opportunities for houses to be purchased. So your supply and demand is a more balanced market. I know you got a lot of people out there that says this is a buyer's market. I do not believe that. Sorry, the rule of supply and demand overruns this every time. I do not have, at least not in Florida, so many houses that I can't accommodate all of my buyers, and I don't have so many buyers that I don't have enough housing for it. So again, I have a nice balanced market out there. So I also promised you, how would you get started as a part-time real estate agent? And if the answers to any of the above questions have you fired up to begin that new hustle, then this next conversation is for you. The steps you're going to need to take to start as a part-time real estate agent: complete the required education. To legally offer real estate services in any state, but especially in the state of Florida, you need a license from the state where you want to operate. And you will only be able to operate in the state in which you have license for. The time and the cost requirements to obtain these licenses varies depending on where you are. But overall, the process is similar. Take the preliminary course that satisfies your state's education requirement, then take some practice exams and pass your state test. Then you will register for your license with your state. Second thing you have to do, now you have an inactive license, you have to select a brokerage. You're going to find a broker to sponsor your license. You need to be open about your availability with them and understand the commission share. Potentially, fees are critical to how successful you're going to be. So make sure you're talking to a broker who offers a mentorship and support to help you succeed. There are plenty of brokerages out there. However, you've got to find one that can accommodate your difficult schedule, help you where needed, and is available when you are available in a part-time capacity to work. Then, your business plan. You absolutely need to have a real estate business plan to handle your costs, your prediction of income, and there are plenty of guides out there to help you determine what the expenses would be versus commission splits and your marketing costs. Planning your marketing expenses so that you can generate enough leads to make the business sustainable is essential. You absolutely, if the brokerage doesn't cover it, invest in a good CRM system early on so that you can manage interactions with leads, prospects, and clients. On day one of you being in this industry, you are going to start losing contacts. Sooner you can get it into a database, the better. Then set your schedule. If you've got a full-time job, you need to let your employer know probably about this new side hustle and assure them it is not going to get in the way of work. Because if they catch you doing it and they feel like it's affecting their job, they have the right as a traditional employer to be a little more greedy with your time. Set aside regular time for real estate work so that you can manage client expectations and avoid scheduling conflicts. For most places, you are not going to be able to take a lunch break and be a real estate agent, or, hey, I'm on my coffee or my smoke break here at work. I'm going to take some calls from my desk where other people can hear me. That's not going to be appreciated, so don't do it. Remember, prioritize some downtime for yourself so that you don't have any burnout. You got too many things that you're going to juggle as it is. You don't want to start juggling your friends and your family commitments. So be clear, be upfront with that employer, be upfront with your clients, minimize the stress and the frustration so everybody is aware of what you're doing. Also, think about scheduling all of your in-person real estate tasks on a specific day of the week so that you can help manage your time better. Mentally, you're going to put yourself in a position where you know Tuesday afternoons, that's my client day. I'm going to be at this coffee shop and clients can all just meet me here, or I'm going to be doing showings on Tuesday afternoons for my clients. I need to make sure I've got that time available so that I can drive, get to where I have to go without interruption, and I don't have to return to something quickly afterwards, because showing properties and being invested in my clients' time should take priority. If you're ready to dive in after all that, and you're just trying to figure out where I can learn the best information so I can pass my test, online real estate schools out there are fantastic for pre-licensing courses. They are incredibly affordable these days, and I've found pretty wide open no matter where you are in the country. I'm consistently impressed with the quality of education that I see out there. Honestly, a lot of these classes now are incredibly well designed, self-paced, and it's a pass or don't pay guarantee, or don't pass your test, we pay for your next test kinds of things that go on. Everybody seems to bide for your success in this industry, and it's nice. So again, if you're still thinking about diving into the real estate world while balancing a part-time gig, balancing act is the best way to put it. But with the right strategies, you can absolutely do it. I have seen it. I have seen it in my own brokerage. There are some tips that you need to remember so that you can make the most out of this hustle to make sure that you're finding success in the industry and you're not just running around. Time management. Plan your real estate tasks around your main job so that you can juggle both effectively. Utilize technology. Use real estate apps, online tools, stay organized, be efficient in handling your real estate responsibilities. Get it done quick. Bad news does not get better with time. Handle those conversations. Number 3, networking. Use your free time to connect with your leads, your potential clients, other real estate professionals so you can expand your contacts, your networks, and your opportunities. 4, stay informed. Keep yourself updated. Stop scrolling through TikTok without making it educational for yourself. You need to know what market changes are happening, legal regulations and adjustments that are going on. Even if you're working part-time, you're held to the same expectations and responsibilities as a full-time agent, and they will take advantage of you if they think you don't know it. Number 5, set some realistic goals for yourself. You're not full-time agent anymore, or you're a first-time agent walking in a part-time capability. You need to set achievable targets. In this business, while you're considered part-time, you need to work toward meeting things consistently. There is no off month. When you've got the availability and you have set the time block to work the real estate side of your hustle, do it, and do it consistently. If you're truly thinking about being part-time in real estate, I will tell you, it is a fantastic move for anyone that's interested in a flexible and very profitable side hustle. It is perfect for those who value freedom, entrepreneurship, education, and the ability to help others. Remember, clients really want an agent who's committed to them, to their goals. This is not just someone who sold a certain number of houses or worked a specific number of hours. They're looking for someone where they feel they're dedicated. And it's okay if the big brag that they have is, my agent works a full-time job and I still felt like I was their only client all the time. They constantly gave me the attention that I felt like I needed. If you got some things out there that you want to talk about, some things that attracted you to the field, some cool things that got in your way that you'd like to talk with the group, we always appreciate you liking, subscribing, and tuning into the channel. We answer all of our questions, and typically I will DM you directly so that we can have a one-to-one conversation so you truly get the answers that you're looking for. So we appreciate your time and your energy and your dedication to us and the channel that we are developing together. Thank you very much, everybody. Do great things, do good business, and consistently enjoy the hustle. Have a great day, everybody.